Hi, it's Mary Bartis in the Bartos Group of Premier Plus Realty, and you have joined us on our Real Estate Connection. Today, I am delighted to introduce two of our guests. We have both Paula Clark from Caldwell Banker and in Bergman County, New Jersey. And we have Diane Glander from Caldwell Banker, two Caldwell Banker ladies from Monmouth County. And thank you both for joining us. Good afternoon, or whatever time of day it is.
Good afternoon, Mary. Thanks for having us.
And, Diane, we have to comment on where you are first, because this is an unusual background that you have. So tell everybody where you are and who you are, where you're from, and then you can tell them where you are.
Sure. So my name's Diane Glander. I'm Caldwell Banker Spring Lake, like Mary said. That's New Jersey, Monmouth County, Jersey Shore, but because the shore is so big, we don't really cover the whole shore. All right, probably about 40 miles along the coast. But I just bought my first boat, the other day, and this is my cabin. It's really messy because we're in here cleaning it all out. But there's this turns into a bed. There's another that's like a back bunk bed kind of place, and then the main bed is up here. You can see all my red, white, and blue stuff. And it's got a place to shower. You drop this curtain and you shower and toilet.
Love it.
I'll go out up top. It's
I'm expecting an invite, Diane.
Of course. We'll definitely have all the Tom Ferry girls on for a ride, or at least we'll just dock it because I'm calling it my cocktail barge. So right now the boat is in Long Branch, New Jersey. I'm going to turn the camera around. I really can't tell if you can see it, but that's it. It's cool. We're going to have a good time on her. She's my entertaining, drinking, and spending the night on the water boat.
I love it. Keep in mind, Diane still owns her own single-family home. She's already in a home.
Yes, yes, I'm not moving on board.
I'm telling you, after having a boat, I don't know that I could live in that close of quarters with my husband as much as I love it.
That's what I said. We have this tiny little beach cottage down in Siesta Key, as you know, Mary, and that's 800 square feet, and we're doing okay with that. So now, I don't know, I guess it's a 30-foot boat, 10 feet wide. I guess now we're down to 300. So, like I said,
we're going from your large home to a little condo in Siesta Keys to now this.
Yes. So if I ever disappear, the name of the boat right now is For Pete's Sake, but that's not what it's going to be. I have to change it. I'm trying to come up with something cool.
I love it. I love it. Well,
Tall Poppy. Make it Tall Poppy, Diane.
Oh my God, Paula, that's awesome. Yes, I have to add that to the list.
My Tall Poppy place.
Very cool.
Oh, what a great name. So, Paula, tell everybody who you are and what parts of New Jersey you cover.
So I am with Caldwell Banker in the Bergen County area, which is north of, for instance, New York. I'm about 30 minutes out of New York City, but it is suburbs here. Bergen County does have a lot of towns, and I'm primarily in the northern part. I'm very close to Rockland County, Westwood, Old Tappan, Norwood. It's it goes all the way up to Oakland and Mahwah, but basically we're down here by Old Tappan, Harrington Park, Northvale, Hillsdale, Montvale. All of the towns are very close together. They're not 1 square mile, but each is about 3 to 4 square miles, and that's in one big area.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I have a team of 7 girls and a couple of guys in the background that do all of the tech stuff. And we're growing, and we've had an amazing year so far, I would say. Number 2 in units in Bergen County.
That's awesome.
Paula.
That's
Your team
awesome.
got so big since I spoke to you last.
Oh, yes. We just hired another buyer's agent, a friend of mine for over 25 years, and she used to sell in Utah, and now she's here with me.
That's awesome. Awesome. And how big is your team, Diane? And this is for everyone out there listening. This is really to folks that are looking to sell or buy in their areas or in our area, which we'll talk about in a minute. So, Diane, talk about the size of your team and what does that look like?
Sure. So we're a team of 5. I have 2 buyer agents. I have a full-time admin, part-time marketing person, and
Okay.
me. And
And
I have
you're
Cooper.
kicking
I
butt
have
there
to
in
show
the
you. I
store.
have to show you one person on my team because he's really the cutest one. Cooper, say hi. Coop, say hi.
Oh,
That's
Yes.
Cooper. He's I don't know what he is, but he's like my shadow. So
Oh.
he's my COVID puppy.
I
Yeah.
want
Oh.
to. Okay, so I want to get a dog. I lost mine during COVID. Nico,
Oh,
yeah. So that's a discussion me and my husband have to have.
Yeah. That's a commitment though, right? Another dog.
It is. And I
For
have
sure.
grandchildren now, so
So you have real kind of fun people to play with, Paula. That's not that puppies aren't, but they're just, different kind of commitment.
yeah, I'm gonna
Well, I'm
put
Mary Partis. We're down here in Southwest Florida, anywhere from Marco Island, Naples, Bonita, Estero, and parts of Fort Myers. We have a fairly large team in the area, a couple of offices. And again, we're on the southwest coast of Florida, which is very different from our clients that are moving, getting their second home down here in New Jersey. There's 2 coasts that folks go to from New Jersey, and one is the East Coast, which these ladies can refer you to someone if you're looking for a second home, or the West Coast, which is where we are.
the best coast.
So, yeah, we're on the West Coast
Beautiful.
here on Southwest Florida. Everybody likes to know, and what we really enjoy in this real estate connection that we do monthly is to allow people to hear about what's happening across the country in different markets. That's how the market is doing. Seems like everything's moving quickly, and there's not a ton of inventory. Paula, why don't you talk about your area? Is that the case in your area as well?
Yeah, so we had a really good start in the new year in January. Everything was going well, blah, blah, blah. And then COVID happened and everybody kind of took a stand, just paralyzed. And for 2 weeks, and I had all these homes coming on the market, and I would Zoom call with my team every single day just to keep them in knowing that they had a job. We're going to be okay. People still need a place to live. I knew that no matter what, people, especially when there's something like this pandemic, it makes people want to be safe, to be home. They need bigger homes. I knew that from instinctually because that's how I felt. I felt most comfortable in my home. So after 2 weeks of kind of absorbing it and figuring it all out and talking with our coaches, because we coach with one of the top coaches in the country, and I called up my sellers and I said, you know what? We're going to sell your house. People need a place. We have to help them. We're going to do it safely. And so that's what we did. We ordered masks. We ordered booties. I met people. I held their hand through the whole thing. And I was so unprepared, but yet prepared. In a way, I said to my team, be prepared because it's coming. I can see the writing on the wall. And sure enough, every home we put on the market, we're bidding wars.
Isn't that
There
awesome?
were at least about 25 buyers to one house, at least.
Wow.
I called up my $1 million buyers, sellers that didn't sell last year. And I called them up. I got on the phones and I said, you know what? Our house didn't sell last year. It's going to sell this year. And sure enough, my $1 million sellers, we would put it on the market. And I had offers and bidding wars with those properties as well within weeks.
It's awesome.
So, yeah. So, we had to, just pivot, change the way we did things. We worked remotely. The kids were home with their kids. The kids, my admins and my operations manager, they're all home with their kids, and they were great at managing that. But think about it. They're managing having their young children home with them and having a job. But I knew how important it was for them to keep that job. And they stepped up, and here we are. And now we're
That's
80 deals. We're 80 units in, 30 pending, and 51 million in sales so far.
Good for you. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Congratulations is right. That's awesome.
Yeah. Diane, how about you? What does that look like in your area?
Yeah, similar. Very limited inventory. Houses are actually selling before they even hit the market because now Monmouth County MLS has a coming soon feature and the agents really aren't using it right, but and that's a whole other story. So, when COVID hit, we were really, really quiet. January was great, like Paula said. And then all of a sudden, February kind of slowed down a little bit when it usually picks up. March, we were dead, except then we started doing tons and tons of rentals. It seemed like everybody was leaving New York, and even like some from up north,
Yeah.
in Jersey City, people were just getting out of the city. And they would come and they'd be like, well, I just want a rental for a couple of months. And that turned into a lot of them who could afford to stayed through the summer because some of the houses that we rent get 10, 15,000 a week in the summer. But those who could, they stayed. And now they're staying even through the end of the year or potentially through next spring. So our rental market went crazy. Prices went up on rentals. It's hard to find a rental as it is to find a house. And housing prices are up about 10% since March. Things do sell very quickly. The most competitive offer I had was in a $700,000 price range. There were 15 contracts. Luckily, my buyer got it.
Yay.
Listing agent said we were not the highest offer, but we had the best terms, and we weren't cash either. So, the way that she got it was we have a lender who will let us waive appraisals. She waived her appraisal. She inspected, but only for structural and environmental stuff. She put down a big chunk of money and actually didn't wind up closing with it that way. She rewrote the loan before she closed so she could hold on to some of her cash. But she got the house, and she had to go $50,000 over asking at a $700,000 price point. Then but everybody was going over asking. So the buyers if they had, like, I represented a buyer in a $250,000 price point. One of my marketing girls, she was buying a house, and she could spend up to $265,000. And everywhere we looked at $265,000, she was getting outbid because she couldn't go over. So we dropped her price point down to $250,000. She went $15,000 over, and got a house. But the funniest story was the first buyer that I really represented once COVID hit came out of Manhattan. The first time they looked at the house, like physically were inside the house, was after they closed and had it sanitized. They never stepped foot in the house. They bought a $3 million house, $150,000 over asking price, and never stepped into it until they closed on it and cleaned it.
What percentage? That's a good question. Let's pivot with that. What percentage do you suppose are buying sight unseen?
It's different now because now we can show. But then, it was pretty much everybody because we couldn't even show houses as realtors. So the listing agent would go in, because we're in New Jersey, it was a big hot spot, as Paula can, attest to. So, the listing agents would go in, take videos, send them to us. We would send them out. And, even that $3 million house, she had to go 150 over asking because we lost the first two, and it was early March. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? We can't even show houses. How are we getting outbid? But it was happening as early as March in my market. And that's awesome. Going on down.
The buyers were so frustrated.
Yeah. A couple of points I want to add, but before we do that, hey, Jamie Engel, love to see you guys. She's from Florida Keys. And she asked a question.
Great age.
What does 500,000 get you in your area? Paula, is 500,000, does it get you anything in your area?
It depends on what you expect. If you're on a main road, tiny house, and it has some updates, most probably it will go over ask. That's a pretty hot number. If it's priced at that price, it depends on what town, but it might get you a 3-bedroom, 2-bath Cape. Move-in condition, maybe, but you'll be against multiple offers.
Okay. Diane, what does that get you in the Shore? Or can you get anything for 500?
You can. So if someone's buying at that price point and they want move-in condition, I tell them to look for condos instead, and they're going to be tiny, 1 and 2 bedroom condos, but you'll probably get an ocean view and they'll be decent, not wonderful. They were basically apartment buildings that were converted to condos. If you're looking for a single family house and you want a beach house, 500,000 is going to be really tough. It's going to be in a horrible location on an undersized lot, which has its own set of problems, and it's going to need a ton of work.
Yeah.
But some people will be like, well, I'll go a mile off the water, and then you can find stuff. But if you want to be that walking distance to the beach, I mean, it's incredible that those days are gone, but they're pretty gone in my neck of the woods anyway.
Yeah, but we can still walk to the beach on Marco Island, not in some of our other markets in a single family home in that 500-ish range. Condos, small condos, you can still get on the beach in that price point, depending on what they want. But, thank you, Jamie, for asking that. Kind of, going back to you, Paula, from a standpoint in your market, did you see, what percentage do you suppose in your market did you see that bought sight unseen?
We didn't have a lot of sight unseen. What we did was the people that didn't want to come in from Manhattan, a lot were coming in from Manhattan, Jersey City, Hoboken, and really to keep our team safe. So our buyer's agents would go to the home and FaceTime their agents, their clients, and video. And we did a lot of video FaceTime calls, as well as I was doing at least 10 Zoom listing appointments a week, all and listing and sending it, not even going into the house.
Yeah.
But nobody just made an offer unless it was it didn't happen with me per se, but I did hear in some cases it did. But, there's so much you can see online today that somebody might make an offer, but a lot of sellers didn't want to accept offers unless they came and saw the house, because the reality is if a buyer will come into the house after they're in contract, there might be something they don't like about it. Maybe there was a high tension wire that was behind the house that you didn't see in the pictures, and now they're going to kill the deal. So a lot of people won't accept those buyers.
It's interesting. We've done about, I would say, 10-ish% of ours that have been sight unseen. This year, we've helped about 260 some odd families so far this year, and say about
We're
20.
Seeing a lot.
Yeah, go ahead, Diane. You want to say you're seeing a lot? Did we lose everybody? No, Paula, you still here?
I'm here. I think Diane's Wi-Fi is so good all of a sudden.
Yeah, she'll come back. I'm sure.
No. What I was.
Very frustrating. This is what's happening with homeschooling. My daughter-in-law is. I get it.
Yeah, it is. It's frustrating. There you go. I think we got you back, Diane. Maybe.
Better?
Maybe not. Yes, better.
What we're seeing is a lot of houses come back on market. Right?
Yeah. For sure. And
when these,
I think your cell service is not good.
People just stupid things.
People do stupid things, is that what I heard you say?
Then they get their buyers.
I think you better go back in the boat, Diane.
Yeah, your cell service is stinking right now. Yeah, for sure. It is an interesting thing. I think Jamie mentioned it in her comment to us. She said, really, that sweet spot everywhere is a lack of listings. And so we need to make sure that we're getting listings at that, to help the buyers. When Diane, when you said you had
doing fine and I didn't move, and then all of a sudden it went out.
Isn't that weird? So weird. When you have that person that, you know,
The next thing you know, they've got this buyer's
Go ahead.
remorse thing going on. Whoops. And I'm sorry if you're losing me.
There you go. You're coming back. Oh, we see a different background.
She's in the boat now.
She's in the boat. I don't know. They must have stopped your service out there. So we'll go back over to you, Paula, as she's trying to get, you know, her service back where she is.
I
You
didn't
know,
say anything.
okay, what are you looking for in your market to help, you know, your sellers and your buyers? What are a couple things that you're
Gosh.
doing right
Sorry,
now?
Mary. Sorry, Paula.
That's
I'm
okay.
in the boat now. That's you said
Yay!
it much better in the boat.
Seems
So I came
to.
back in the boat.
We'll go back to you, Paula. What are a couple things that you're doing to help your
I don't
sellers and
know.
buyers?
It's bizarre. I've
Sellers
got
to
like
sell
4
and
bars.
your,
I don't know
yeah,
why.
sellers to sell and your buyers to let's see if we can do that. Your sellers to sell. I'm gonna mute you for a minute, Diane. Paula, what are you doing to help your sellers sell and your buyers to get the deal?
Well, I sit with my buyer's agents because they're the, you know, I don't really show houses to buyer's agents, but we make sure that we have a consultation with all of our buyers from the first day, excuse me, from the first day that we meet them to tell them what's going to happen. This is your price range, we'll say, and we'll show them all the homes. We'll show them how fast they're going in contract. And if you are just like Diane said, she had somebody at 265 and they were losing them, and you know, so she went to 250. We kind of do the same thing. We tell them, look a little bit lower and let's look at our expectations, because the market's great. This might be your first home, but I set the expectations, make sure they know the process so that they don't get so frustrated. And we're going to tell you what you need to do to get the house. If you're not willing to do that, you're not going to get the house. Sometimes we even give that explanation and they still don't get the house. We've had some buyers that have lost 10 offers, and you know, because somebody comes in cash, and but then they come back to us because, you know, the person with the cash that offers maybe 100,000 over ask, if you really look at it, they do the 700 before they can, or even if it's a mortgage, they do the 700 and then they back out, or it doesn't appraise unless they waive the appraisal, and that's a different thing. But if they were waiving the appraisal, we have to ask for proof of funds, because do you have the money to be able to do it? Talk to the mortgage, the lender, to find out with the lender, do they have the money to make up the difference if it doesn't sell if it doesn't appraise at that point?
Right.
So more than anything, and most of my listings close. I have a high percentage of listings that close because I make sure I have that conversation. I vet every buyer. I call the lender. I don't care if they want me to or not. I tell them I'm going to call the lender, and I do my due diligence to make sure we choose the right buyer. Because you just choose that wrong buyer. And then also, I see so many agents doing the wrong thing with presenting offers, and they present it sloppily. They start presenting an offer, telling you all the things that are wrong with the house. I mean, really, there are, I mean, you know, because you're a great agent. Jamie knows, Diane knows, because we get it. But it's amazing how many other realtors are either have not been coached to know how to run real estate, or they just innately don't know. But listen, if I'm going to work with you, I want it to be easy, and I don't want you to be a pain in the neck.
Yeah, no.
You're going to educate your buyer to tell them what they need to do, and you're not going to come in with a 25-page inspection because you saw the cracked tile and we're not fixing the cracked tile.
Yeah.
So I think it's all about educating our buyers and sellers, and telling them what they need to, what they're going to expect. It's all about expectations.
I love that you said that, because that's really what it is right now in this market that's moving so quickly. to, if you're representing a buyer, to get the property, or the seller of this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm sending a
It's a stressful time.
Diane.
It's a very stressful time for sellers and buyers. I always sit with them first. And like a seller, I'll sit with the seller and the buyer. This is what's going to happen. I need to know, are you emotionally, do you really want to sell this house? Are you both on board? Are you both on board? Because that I want to find out first, because I don't want to put the house on the market and then all of a sudden they have second thoughts, or I didn't know it was going to go this fast, or I'm not ready. I didn't find a house yet. So I'll sit with I have a house coming on the market next week. I wanted them to know, your house, I know it, is going to sell fast. Where are you going? What are you willing to do? And
how to get them prepared. I love that in what you're doing to prepare folks for either the buying or the selling, and setting expectations.
That's
Diane,
right.
what are you doing right now to kind of help folks set their expectations in the selling or the buying process?
You know, what I'm finding is that people really like to hear the stories, right? So, you know, this is what's been happening since March, and this buyer did this, and this is how we won this bidding war, you know, and this is what we did for this seller. So, you know, like specifically, the contracts have to be clean. We eliminate as many of the contingencies as we possibly can. With sellers, it's really just educating them on the different nuances of each person's offer that comes in, and not necessarily taking the best offer, but the one that's got the best terms. So the hard part for us is after we sell their house is where they're going to go. That's always because they hear what's going on in the market, you know, and they are very afraid of being homeless. So we're starting to do some lease backs. You know, the buyer buys the house, but they don't need to move in right away. So the sellers, you know, lease it back from them. We're doing some of those right now to kind of keep people calm, because it is kind of scary. Again, the rentals down here are as hard to find as a new house is. So, you know, we had a buyer who actually came from the Chester area, and she looked for a house. She put her house on the market. It sold in 3 days. She looked down here for like 2 weeks, and she was panicked. I'm like, listen, let's find you a rental so that you have 6 months now in the winter time to figure out what you want to do, and hopefully things will calm down a little bit after the new year.
How are the rentals? What is the rental market in the winter?
So our normal winter season goes September to May. But this year, because the owners are getting so much for their houses, and some people are saying, hey, we just want to stay till December.
Yeah.
They're doing it. Like, so for instance, a house that I have that would have gotten $3,500 a month in the winter is now getting $7,500. Took that risk knowing in January he may not get anybody. But then again, he might. I mean, I have a couple from Manhattan paying $15,000 a month for a house here in the winter time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So crazy.
Yeah, it does go crazy in that. It speaks to, if, you know, folks are looking for a rental. Obviously, Diane, you offer that in your section of the Jersey Shore. Paula, do you really manage any rentals at all in your neck of the woods?
I can't hear you, Mary, if you're saying anything. I'm sorry.
You're asking me if we see rentals?
Yeah.
So I have a few rentals here and there. And at first I thought, you know, they weren't so good. But all of a sudden, there are people that didn't get homes or find the homes that they wanted. They don't want to settle, so they're renting.
Yeah.
So if in the suburban area, a really nice rental comes up, we just had a rental that one of our buyers wanted, and actually it went over the ask of the rental. So it depends on what it is, where it is. Yeah.
Sure. Well, rentals, we know a lot about rentals because we are a second home market where people vacation to. So there are a number of rentals. but some of my owners or investors are looking at that because they do feel the prices are going to go up because, we're in a time right now, unfortunately, with COVID where it likes to live when we're indoors. So it lives when we're indoors. It doesn't like us when we're outdoors. So, winter in Southwest Florida is really, we're outside a lot versus, summer in New Jersey, you're outside a lot. So we find a lot of folks that are looking to get out of that, cold area in the winter so that they can kind of hip hop back and forth. I think we're going to see some interesting times for us. They've had a couple of things that, that were advertised recently that Florida's getting 950 buyers a day coming to Florida. 10,000, 20,000 boomers are still retiring every day for the next 10 years. They did it for the past 10 years. But now everybody's deciding, where do they want to live? What's that lifestyle look like? Diane, do I want to be in, the shore, or do I want to be closer to my kids, Paula, maybe in a bigger house where I can have them, or I have to deal with school and everything else? That's what we're seeing right now. And people are coming here for that.
We're seeing that one too.
Yeah. Tell everybody as our time is drawing near. Diane, I know we're catching you in and out. Do you have any parting thoughts for everyone on the call? Can you hear us?
Well, I'll start, and I can say that I think we're going to be in this COVID real estate world for at least until next summer.
Yeah, I too, until these vaccines come around and people start choosing to take them. How about you, Diane? Any last thoughts on, the market, on thoughts that you want our viewers to hear today?
Sure. Well, we've got this Fortune 500 appraiser. His name is Jeffrey Otto. And his predictions are, and this is for New Jersey overall, by the way, Paula, he covers the whole state, for the market to continue to rise this year and even next year. This year, he's predicting for another 2 to 4%. And then next year, it's going to probably be less than 2% with a little bit of slowdown. But, and we didn't really touch base on this, and I should have brought it up sooner. Even though COVID is really a driving force in this market, the bigger force and more permanent force at this point is the influx of millennials who are buying homes. That age group now, they're a bigger buying group than we were as baby boomers. So there's, that is also, there's just so many buyers looking. And when I look back at my last 5 sales, they were all those, millennials.
It's amazing. You're right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, and that they're not going away. They're going to be in this market. The predictions are for at least the next 3 years. So, I think that's going to still be a very big driving force behind what happens with the market, irregardless of what COVID does, because these millennials, they want to buy houses, and and they've got money, a lot of them too. My Manhattan
and interest rates, you're spot on. Interest rates are so low, and they're expecting them to be this low for 5 years.
Yeah.
Paula, tell everybody how to find you. What's your best phone number, email? What does that look like?
So it's Paula at thepaulaclarkgroup.com. My cell phone number is easy. I'm a big texter, 201-280-0056. I have if you need anything at all, whether any vendors or anybody in the area of Northern Bergen County, I have a great list of great painters, junk removers, cleaners, floor people. And I think that's important. A lot of people are fixing up their homes. If you just want to know if what your home needs before you put it on the market, I'm great at that. And so that's how you reach me, Paula at thepaulaclarkgroup.com. You can go to my website at paulaclarkrealtor.com.
Awesome. Diane, how do they reach you?
Sure. So, same thing. Diane at theglandergroup.com is my email. And my cell is 732-233-9630. Our website is glandergroup.com, where you can go and put in information if you are looking for a quick valuation for your home. We won't pester you. We're great following up, though. So if you're looking and needing some help, we're absolutely available to you, either me or one of my agents.
I refer all my spring Long Beach, a Long Branch, all that whole way to Diane, and she's been great.
That's awesome.
And ditto, Paula. Anybody coming up my way, coming up Paula always gets my referrals. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for being our guest today on the Real Estate Connection. Again, their information will be below. And if we can help here in Southwest Florida, our information will be below.
I'll be in touch, Mary. Let me know if something comes on the market with a water view. I'm open.
Definitely. Definitely would love to do that for you, Paula. Anyway, until next time, I'm Mary Bartis with the Bartis Group of Premier Plus Realty, and we look forward to seeing you here in Paradise, or better yet, up there in